If you want to laugh and have some fun, this is the podcast. This is the one. Lights, camera, action on your marker, set, go. Welcome everyone to the Suezie Show. Welcome everyone to the Suezie Show. Welcome everyone to the Suezie Show. Welcome everybody. Today's episode, I am going to talk about making a difference, being the change. Instead of walking by something and complaining about it, if it's within your power to do something about it, do something about it. For instance, a long time ago, I don't want to start it out with a long time ago. Once upon a time, a long time ago in a land far, far away. Okay, I'll do like that. There you go. I was hanging out with a friend of mine and we went to pick up some Subway. We got ourselves some Subway and her daughter at the time was, I don't know, like 8 years old, something like that. And we picked up Subway and we picked her up from school, after school, and we drove out to the beach. And I want to say this was Dania Beach. It's north of Miami, south of Lauderdale. It's north of Hollywood. It's like 10 minutes away from Hollywood Beach. But anyway, it was in Florida. And we pick up my niece. And we go out to the beach and we were going to eat our subs at the beach. Have a nice little afternoon, eat our subs, walk around, pick up some seashells. Just have a nice day after school, pick her up and surprise her with Subway subs, and we're going to the beach and stuff like that. So we get to the beach, and when you park in the parking lot, the beach is right there, the pier is right there, and there's plenty of beach north and south of you. You just pick a spot anywhere. You got plenty of room. But we walk up, and there's these concrete picnic tables right when you start walking on the beach, right when your feet hit the sand. There's these two concrete picnic tables. They're literally made out of concrete, solid concrete, with the benches, and I think it's one solid piece, but there was two of them right there at the pier, right near the parking lot. I figured we could eat at the picnic table and then go for a walk. So we walk up to the picnic tables and they were absolutely covered. And I mean covered. I'm not being picky. They were covered with disgusting things, with Sharpie pen and spray paint. It was bad. All the way across both of them. It was really bad, for real. I'll tell you like this. I will say there were swastikas, etc. all over these tables. I was like, no. And we walked over to the next table because we saw the first picnic table covered with all sorts of crap, for real. It was gross. Not crap like dirt and garbage, because yeah, I could have picked that up and thrown that out. It was stuff that was spray painted and Sharpied all over these friggin' tables. The seats, everything. So we got up, I was like, no, we're not eating at this one. And we walk over to the next one, which is like 3 feet away. And that one's covered too. I mean, we both saw it, but I didn't realize it was just as bad as the first one until I got right on it. And I told my friend, I was like, no, we're not eating here. We could go sit on the sand and eat. And she says, oh, she's trying to make it a better situation than what it was. She said, well, we could always open up our Subway, the paper, and the paper would cover what's on the table. We don't have to look at it. And I'm hard-headed and, I felt a certain way. I felt strong about that. I did not want to go try to have a nice picnic. And I know that sounds petty to some of you. Like, come on, you could have just opened up the Subway paper and ate your subs. It would have been covered and nobody would have known. I would have known that I was eating at a table covered with that crap. So no, we walked down the beach a little bit underneath the pier, so we were in the shade. And it was actually really nice. I liked that better because at the picnic table, there was no umbrella. You were just sitting there baking in the sun, actually. So that did work out. We had a nice day. We ate our subs, cleaned up after ourselves, obviously. Walked around the beach, picked some seashells, played in the water a little bit, up to our knees because we had clothes on. We were just going there to pick seashells, eat lunch, and just hang out for a little bit. And we had a great time, and we left. And when we got back to her house, because I lived in Orlando and she lived down in Hollywood Beach at the time. And so I was down visiting her. And after we got back to her place, I said, what time does Walmart stays open all night? It's 24 hours. And she's like, yeah, because it did that where I lived. Walmart was open 24 hours a day. I was making sure it was open 24 hours where she was. And she said, yeah. So I said, all right, tonight we're going on a mission. And she was like, oh no, here we go. Where are we going? What's she making me do now? Here we go. So nighttime came and it was about 2:00 in the morning. We drove off to Walmart and I bought a few cans of spray paint that was like a tan, like earthy tan color. right? And we drove back to the beach. It was, at this point now, it's like 20 after 2 in the morning. And we drove back to the same spot and we spray painted over both those tables with a tan color. And I picked a tan. It was like a medium tan, not quite brown, not light tan. It was like a nice beach color. And I figured that color would look most natural. It wouldn't look spray painted. I was hoping anyway. But anything, and I was hoping it would actually cover the stuff that was on the table because that stuff was in black and I picked a brown. So I was really hoping it worked, but at least I could try and make a difference. Because that had to be done. And obviously nobody else was going to do it. So I went to Walmart and she brought me to Walmart. We got some cans of spray paint and drove out to the beach and spray painted. And I tell you what, you know how you get a breeze? I hope you know how when you're at the beach, usually you have a nice breeze off the water. It was breezy that night. And I mean breezy, where the sand was blowing, like kind of sandblasting us. It was past breezy, but I don't know how. It wasn't like a hurricane or raining. It was just super windy. I still remember that. It was such a long time ago, and I still remember how crazy windy it was. And we spray painted over the tops, the sides, the whole thing, and we finished up, and you couldn't really see anything because it was pretty dark. It's in the middle of the night. So the next day, we woke up. And I said, we need to go out there and see how it came out. Let's see if you could still see the stuff through the paint or not, or if it worked, because we couldn't tell. So we drove back out there, and boy, oh boy, I gotta tell you, it was like Mother Nature helped us spray paint over those tables because it was like they were painted with paint and sandpaper. It was like stuck to that table, like that's how they came. You couldn't see a thing through that paint, and it looked beautiful. And it was so awesome because when we were leaving, I remember there was like a little family that walked up to one of the tables and ate lunch. And I'm sure there's been hundreds of thousands of other people that have sat there and hung out. And it was a nice, clean looking table. And it felt good because knowing that it didn't cost me that much money, you could say, well, that's graffiti. That's illegal. Yeah, I know it was illegal because it could have been considered graffiti. But if I have to play Batman and be a vigilante and go ahead and spray paint over that kind of crap that's all over, no matter what, even if you're not going to sit at the picnic tables, if you park in that parking lot, you have to walk by those tables. And they're still there. They're still there to this day. And they're right there. Like, you have to walk by those tables to go to the beach. Period. Because, you have to walk up to where the pier is, and then you decide if you're going to go north or south. But those tables are right there. You might think, oh, that's illegal. You shouldn't have done that. Well, to me, it's better than leaving it that way. Who knows how much tax money that they would have used up saying, oh, well, we had to do this to the table and power wash it and sandblast it. And who knows what kind of crap. Sometimes, I'm not saying they do or don't in that particular town, but sometimes government will waste a lot of money when it really could have cost somebody like me $15 to get the job done. Legit. So guess what? The job's done. You could spend that money on some of the potholes or fixing lights or doing something cool for a school. How about that? I got those tables. They're covered. And I'll tell you what, years later, we went back. Me and my girl went back. I was like, yo, we should go back and see how they look. If somebody ruined them again or if the paint kind of wore off, or let's see. With curiosity, right? So we drove out and they still looked great. We were both absolutely besides ourselves that it still looked that good. And I felt proud. Things like that. When you see something, I mean, maybe not like that, because if a cop came along, if he had a bug up his ass or was like, hey, you can't be doing that. And even if I explained and showed him, look what's all over these tables, like all over the damn thing, not even like a couple gross things on the table here or there. And when I say gross, it was just, you wouldn't want to eat at a table that had these sorts of things written on it. Period. I don't think you would. Nobody that I know that listens to this podcast would ever want to sit and eat anything at a table that had that kind of shit all over it. No way. You would do the same thing I did. Your ass would get up, walk over to the beach, sit down in the sand, and eat your food. There's little things that other people can do if they think that's a little too far. You could see something like a a piece of trash, and I mean like something that's not grody, like let's say a McDonald's bag that you obviously could just pick up the bag and toss it out, or you see a beer bottle on a beach, pick that shit up and throw it out. It won't hurt you. I'm sure you have hand sanitizer. Everybody nowadays, especially after Corona, has hand sanitizer in their car, in their home, in the bathroom. Hand sanitizer is everywhere. I personally will always carry a garbage bag, like a Walmart plastic bag, you know, those cheap little thin bags. I try to keep one in my car at all times because I know, and my family and friends do know this about me, I won't go somewhere and see all sorts of garbage and just walk by it. Like, my nephew and I go fishing, and he brings me to different spots to go fishing, and it's all beautiful places. It's just, you're surrounded by nature. I love it. But there's one spot that is behind, if you didn't know it was there, you would drive right by it. Really. I'm not going to say where it is, but it's behind a store, and it's, you walk down a tiny little 20-foot path, and you go down a hill, and boom, there it is. There's the water. And we went there, I want to say like a month ago, and I wound up cleaning up a big, you know, those big green garbage bags, the big ones. And matter of fact, there was a big green garbage bag with a shopping cart with some garbage in it. And I wound up filling that thing up with garbage. And the difference of how that place looked, the two of us, he helped me. And the difference of when we walked in, where there's trash here, little nips, you know, those little alcohol nips, those little bottles, those are over there. Blunt wrappers. Listen, let me get into this. When I was a kid, if we had a little spot that we partied in, we didn't leave shit behind. We were like ghosts. You did not know anyone was there. We didn't leave so much as a Dorito on the ground. You had no idea. Like, if a cop ever, when we were kids, if a cop ever showed up and we weren't there at some of the spots that we hung out and partied in, they would never go, oh yeah, look at all these blunt wrappers and empty beer bottles and all this other crap. Yeah, people are coming here and they're trashing the place. That's like telling a cop, this is what we do here. I mean, duh. First of all, that's disgusting. You shouldn't be making messes like that where you go. The world's in enough trouble with all this plastic in the water and everything else. We don't need to be going into forests and by lakes making messes. Clean up after yourself, especially if you're doing something you might not ought to be doing. Also, if you want to keep that thing beautiful and a place that you'd want to go back to 10 years from now, maybe don't trash it now. Because think about it. If you go into somebody's bathroom, let's say it's a restaurant, just restaurant, because somebody's house would be different. You go into a restroom. Now, the first restroom that you walk in, we're going to do two scenarios. First restroom you walk in is clean. And I mean nice and clean. Everything's nice and shiny. It smells clean. It looks clean. Everything's nice. You wash your hands when you're done, and you accidentally drop the towel, the little hand towel that you use to dry your hands. People are more likely to pick that towel up and throw it in the trash in a clean bathroom than if you walked into a bathroom. It looks disgusting. It looks and smells like it has not been cleaned. There's shit all over the floor. It's wet. Who knows what that shit is on the floor? Is that water or is that piss? The floor is sticky. Like that. You drop your hand towel after you wash your hands, you are less likely to pick that towel up because you ain't even going to want to pick something up off of that floor. It's already nasty. And now, who knows what the hell just jumped on your hand towel since it touched that floor. You're more not you, but people are more likely to leave that damn towel on that nasty floor and walk away. It's the difference. It's the difference of something that's kept nice and how people are going to treat it compared to something that's kept crappy. So if people keep leaving their trash all over the beaches and there's not people, never mind that get paid to do things like that. People that do it for free, that will walk up or walk past something and pick it up and they see a trash pail 20 feet away and they throw it out. There's all kinds of people that will do that. If people don't stop trashing their hangouts, there will be nowhere left to hang out. You don't want to be sitting there 10, 15 years from now telling your niece or your nephew or your son or your daughter, oh, we used to come here, it used to be so nice, blah, blah, blah. Well, is there something you could do about making it nice again? Is there anything in your power? Could you walk around, get some rubber gloves and some trash bags And could you clean that spot up? Could you gather people together, put signs out in local stores letting people know, I'm going to do a beach cleanup. If you'd like to join me, I'm going to supply the gloves and the trash bags. I did that in the town I live in years ago. I walked around, I put up flyers at the different corner stop stores and all different places that would let me. I put it up in all different places around here locally, letting people know, if you would like to help me clean up, this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to supply the trash bags and the rubber gloves. And my slogan was, one person can make a difference. I really do this stuff because I actually do care. Just so we're clear on that. I'm not some rich person that can go to charity. Not yet. But I'm not some rich person yet that can go to some charity dinner tonight and an auction tomorrow and do a community cleanup this weekend. That's not where this is coming from. This is coming from somebody who loves the beach, loves nature, actually cares, and will do what I can within my power to make a difference. And I hope that you all will do the same. If I see a bunch of garbage somewhere, I'm going to pick it up and clean it. I'm not going to leave it. I can't to walk by a bunch of garbage and say, oh, that's disgusting. This place used to be nice. How difficult would it be for you to pick that stuff up and put it in a bag and throw it out? I know somebody else should have, but they didn't. We have to balance that out. There can't be just one side that's trashing stuff and not the other side that's cleaning it up and making it better, to where the cleanup crew starts to overpower the sloppy crew. I mean, if you can make a difference, if there's something within your power, whether it be tiny or huge, or you have the means to make something just happen, to clean up an ocean, a beach, a forest, your own neighborhood, it helps to get a community together. It feels like a community because you're showing each other and anyone who happens to drive by, we care about this community. We're going to pick this up. Please don't trash around here. And even if it keeps getting trashed, you got to keep fighting the good fight, people. Fight the good fight. Make a difference. Be the change you want to see in the world. Seriously. If you want to see a change in the world, be the change. You don't want to go to places that are always wrecked and trash everywhere. Go there while everybody's there trashing it and start picking up the trash. I've done it. I have done it. There's a place not far from me where people park and hang out, and it overlooks the water. There's a pier. It's a good-sized parking lot, and they hang out, and people drink and smoke, and that do you. But don't trash the place when you're drinking and smoking. There's trash pails all over the damn place, and I have actually gone there a few times just to walk on the beach, and I can't walk by without filling up a Walmart bag and having to dump it and refill it. And it's funny because when people start seeing me do that, I'll see in the corner of my eye, oh, that guy just walked over and picked up that empty Budweiser box and threw it out. It's a domino effect. Good people will see that and say, you know what, it's all right for me to pick this up and throw it out. We're starting to show each other we care about our hangouts, we care about our places, and we care about our community and the environment. So that's my message. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I will see you next time on the Suezie Show. Yeah. Thanks for listening and hanging out. I'll see you next time, without a doubt. Now you know where I am, and you know where to go. See you next time on the Suezie Show. See you next time on the Suezie Show.